What's up, everybody? I'm Delia. I am the founder of Subvert Art Consulting. Today, I am taking you on a home tour with the art collectors Liam and Paige. Their apartment is right in the heart of downtown Denver. It is a wild ride.
I think our art says that we probably are maybe slightly hoarders, but are very good at placing it, so it doesn't feel like it.
Is it art? Is it clutter?
Well,
it's so much art that it is clutter, but it's also the other way around. Clutter equals art, art equals clutter.
I feel like a lot of the things that we have are very sentimental, or we have gained sentimental feelings about pieces that we have because of the time that we spent with them. And so I don't know, I feel like our impulse consistently is to keep it and find a place for it where it feels or it makes sense and it feels homey, rather than saying like, oh, even just like, should we probably throw away this bottle that we don't need? Maybe. Or we could find a lovely place for it on a shelf. Should we tuck these glasses away in a cabinet? Maybe, but we could also display them somewhere. Maybe what it says about us is that we'd rather people like see and experience the things that we cherish, rather than like choosing one just because it makes it look more clean. Like, I think I would rather be able to see all these things that I have a lot of memories about and bring me a lot of joy every day, rather than picking and choosing and tucking things away in storage.
I believe it came from Chile. It's tough because it is in many ways like a really neutral piece, because it's got a lot of tans. I'd say maybe more so than some of the other stuff that we have. And when we had a little less in this room, and originally these bed sheets were white, it was looking, I don't know, very, very neutral. I feel like rather than us relying on the tans right now, we're more relying on the, these lovely colors here to, kind of match things too, especially with your guitar that you've made right here next to it.
I'm very proud of it. That was a prop for a burlesque number that I did. It is a vagina guitar. She is bedazzled.
We got these from, I suppose she's a family friend, but more or less a cousin of mine. Her name's Gabriela Sotero. When she said she was selling these two pieces, we jumped on it because I thought they were gorgeous. And as a pair, they're wonderful. When we saw this wall, we were like, oh, wow, we can add some depth to it and really, highlight our junk cabinet here. Really draw the eye away from that. We can turn a light on and there we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like the cohesiveness of the drips and the colors, but I do like that there is some very different coloration on the body on both of them. An individual or two individuals, but I think there's a lot left for the imagination, but there is kind of this connectedness with the drips and the back color and them being put, close to each other, but far enough apart to be able to look at them as solo pieces as well. But yeah, I don't know. I do love, like with this one, because this one almost feels statuesque in kind of like, particularly, in like this coloration of the purple around here. But then depending on which angle you look at it and the longer you look at it, you can kind of see where there might be different like dimensions coming from different areas. It's kind of fun to look at them because I feel like you can see something different depending on which angle you're looking at them from, or if you're back there, they kind of look very different than standing right here in front of them in the different light.
And I feel like in terms of, the lines specifically, they're messy in that they're drips. They are truly, some of these are, pulled down, and some of these were just like a drip of paint and then it kind of got a chance to let go. The duality of that you've got something that should be clean and looks, a little messy on this end, very intentionally, and something that in many ways, technique-wise, is a little looser, a little messier, but comes across cleaner, I think is fascinating. Okay, there's a lot going on here that's messed up a little by plants. This is one of my favorite pieces. I also got this in France. I love the simplicity of this piece. Is just a lovely watercolor of a tree that says tree. A lot of the times, you go to some of these and it's a lot of kind of copy paintings. People are painting a lot of the same things so they can sell a lot of them. This was the only artist, and I'm sure he did variations on this, but it seemed so distinctly original and that it was just very rushed how he was doing everything. And before, when I got it, he signed it and he was like, oh yeah, I'll sign it. He just grabbed a pencil, just huge right across the bottom. And I was like, well, that was perfect here. I really love that one. To go more with our clowning theme, we have a couple of masks from the recent theater production that we did, Palomita, over here. This came from the Lyric, the original Lyric movie theater in Fort Collins. It holds a lot of sentimental value. It's traveled far and wide here. I love this shelf because I feel like the color of the whole thing is really lovely.
Well, this was mine. I painted this. We kind of just got a bunch of supplies and then jumped into just, painting a bunch of things, on our floor. And yeah, like had the canvases, just kind of got some cheap paints and cheap canvases and made it work. But yeah, as I had done a couple and then I wanted to play around with like doing different like layerings of like tape and angles and paint. And I don't know, I kind of was just going with it, but I really liked how that one turned out. And yeah, I don't know, that one was probably the best of the bunch, at least for my end.
That's a Middle Earth map. You look around, there's a lot of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, miscellaneous nonsense here that I feel like, I don't know, when you put it up next to other stuff, you can elevate it a little bit. Or maybe the purpose is really to pull everything else down a little bit too.
That is one of my mother's mini Tivoli paintings. My mom went to school in Copenhagen for a year when she was in college, and Tivoli is like the quaint, adorable amusement park in Copenhagen that's been around for hundreds of years that I believe inspired a lot of Disneyland in its kind of picturesqueness that is much smaller. But yeah, she has a lot of, and has always collected a lot of posters from Tivoli.
I don't know, the black, white, red color scheme is kind of my favorite type of thing. We have a bit, though some of it's migrated around. I don't know, there's something like childish about it all. Yeah, I feel like you just kind of put it all together and it starts looking fun and whimsical. I don't know, maybe childish, but I mean childish in like a very good way.
Childish and whimsy, they work hand in hand, I'd say.
This was a very convenient piece, as these really are just sound dampeners that look nice and that add a wonderful amount of texture to the room. We're thinking about maybe putting some stuff around them, but for right now, I'd say it kind of, I don't know, a little bit of neutrality. I feel like sometimes can pull some things together in a fun way. I don't know, I really love the texture. There's a mix of function and kind of fun stuff. The two on the very ends, I got after I did a production at CSU for the Young Producers Organization called Buried Child. And Austin Ray Doty was our dramaturg, and as part of it, put together some pieces that were inspired, I guess, by the piece. Sam Shepard piece, very dark. They look. I mean, I love the dirt on this one. I love this one a lot because she burned the crap out of the canvas and kissed it at one point, and it always eerily resembled a face. And I think that was the intention. And then the two pieces here. This was the first piece of art I ever bought in Paris. I don't know. I loved it when I saw it. And then this one I got in Mexico, and I love birds. I love birds. They're all over the place. Typically it's red birds. I like cardinals. But there was something about that one that, I don't know, really stood out to me. And this one in the middle came from my parents' house. I believe my mom got it in Brazil, but I don't know. I love the colors on that one.
This one and this one are two pieces that I painted. This one on the right, I was starting to experiment with making paint out of makeup. The pink on there is a blush that I turned into a paint, and then a black paint on top of that. And that ended up being a rather difficult medium to work with because every time you touch it, it comes off. So we don't touch that one. We just leave that one there. But I do very much like the way it turned out. And then, yeah, this middle one is a poster that I've had, I think, since I was in college.
That portrait, I don't know where it came from or who did it. I think at one point it had been left. It had been discarded. Oh, that piece there is one of mine. The one that's tucked in the back there, not the shoes.
So the shoes a friend of mine did. Those were a present for Christmas for Liam by a family friend in Breckenridge, Ben Gordon, and he started doing some like digital painting like way back when I was still in late middle school. This was a piece that we got at Tivoli in Copenhagen, actually, on the trip that we were there last year.
So again, a lot of stuff here. A lot to take in. This is a mold of your face.
It is, yeah. That I kind of just had. I didn't. We like made it for
casually.
Yeah, well, we made it. We made them for a masks class in college.
I saw this and immediately fell in love. I bought this in Chile when I was living there, and we got it in a market there. My grandfather actually helped me get this because we did a little bit of haggling, but my Spanish is not amazing. It could be worse. It could be better. So he helped me get this. This painting behind here is actually the original watercolor that was done for my first play that I got produced called Puneta and Musica Sibillina, a sequel. It's a two-parter. And we wanted something very visceral and kind of uncomfortable. It had to do with birds and stuff. And I mentioned before that I love that whole like black, white, red color scheme. So of course this, but when we did the play, I wanted to have that color scheme kind of be the focus as well. Look at something like this. My grandmother painted this. I wish I could display it somewhere. Or I guess she did the calligraphy and the drawings on it.
This one I got a while back, but I went to a documentary at the Sea Film Center about a girl named Innocente who grew up homeless and then started making art. Yeah, it was kind of just about her story and the art that she's made. Snag that there. She signed it. Very beautiful. I love this little bunny rabbit with the heart tail looking off into the distance.
I mean, I think that it's loaded with a lot of meaning. I mean, you have the Darth Vader of the Empire holding Jesus Christ in the ashes of 9/11. And I mean, obviously it's very powerful and very sad, but also deeply funny. I love that piece so much, though it does seem to really perplex or offend anyone who sees it. So it's kind of tucked away at the moment. It's not a centerpiece.
I think it never was in either of our brains to limit ourselves, like to choose for the sake of an aesthetic. I don't think it ever even occurred to us that like, oh, maybe we should, scale this down for the sake of, a certain, design aspect. I think that was just never really something that made any sense to either of us. It wasn't even discussed. I think it was just like, we're going to put all this in our place. We're going to find a home for all of it.
I think,
and it's going to look how it's going to look. And I like how it looks.
for better or for worse, I don't think we've ever said no to each other.
No.
Thank you for watching that and for being here on this channel. It really means a lot to me. I love hearing your thoughts on these videos, so share any questions you had, any inspiration you drew from this, whatever you want to share, I would love to read it. And I will see you next week.